Right before she died of a drug overdose, I had no idea she was taking drugs.
It gets you addicted. I mean, I started out like any drug, just doing it once a week. Then it became twice a week. Then it became almost every night, smoking a little bit. Then it became waking up with it, doing it all day long.
I didn't get to see my daughter, but her dad did.
He was a heroin addict. He, had struggled with heroin for a long time, but he had been clean for a year.
I'm just thinking to myself, like, why? Why did you drive?
I looked to the left and I saw like this white truck, and I couldn't see nothing. I said, I go, oh Jesus, like that, and it hit us.
You will be convicted of a felony if you're caught selling this stuff.
And what you don't really realize that you're putting your life in danger and everybody else around you in danger, and it's just not worth it.
It was 8 minutes from the time the officer left, and that my daughter was killed.
Broke my back at T12, severed my spinal cord, had a punctured lung, a torn diaphragm, and several broken ribs, and that's what left me paralyzed at the waist, and he got a speeding ticket. That's it.
Hi, folks. Thank you for joining us here. I appreciate you being here after our premiere of episode 256 with Aaliyah sharing her story of losing her son, Rio. So, for starters, I thought it would be a good idea to just kind of quickly go over what the symptoms of an overdose are, what the symptoms of an opioid overdose are, like fentanyl, heroin, opioids. And in the story, Aaliyah talks about one of them in particular. She talks about that gurgling, snoring sound. That's a big giant flag. Another symptom of an overdose is pinpoint pupils, being unresponsive, not waking up, not shallow breathing or not breathing is another one. And what else? Fingertips, fingernails, lips turning blue, all indicators of not enough oxygen in the system. And so those are all good indicators. What am I forgetting? I know that some of the people in the audience have familiarity with what symptoms of an overdose can look like. Those are the big ones, unless there's something I'm forgetting. But those are the big ones. You start seeing symptoms like that, the very first thing is to call 911. Get that ball rolling. Call 911. And then administer naloxone if you have it. Profuse sweating. Okay. That's a new one to me, Brenda. Profuse sweating. Okay. It seems like that would probably be an early onset kind of symptom. Drippy nose, tears. Yeah. That makes sense. Good one. So after calling 911, right after calling 911, administer naloxone. Naloxone, like Narcan, or it could be many other brands. Yeah, you probably should. This is what the dispenser looks like for Narcan and Cloxato and all the generic brands as well. It's just a simple nose plunger. This one is Cloxato, but they all look the same. They all work the same. Push it up the victim's nose. Doesn't matter which nostril. Push it up as far as you can push it, and then push the plunger on the bottom to administer the dose. And if you don't get a response in a couple of minutes, give them the other dose that's in the box. You can also do chest compressions while you're waiting for 911 to be there. So, Brenda, tell us about what to do if they don't have naloxone. Because I don't know. The sound of someone having an asthma attack is a sign of an overdose. Yes. Yeah, that is like the something like a snoring sound or the gurgled sound, what's referred to as the death rattles. And once you start seeing these symptoms, seconds matter. You need to act very fast. So Brenda says if the overdose victim is male, get as much ice as available, remove the pants and place directly on the groin. All right. I have heard that from a storyteller. There's a storyteller in when we shot stories in El Paso. I'm pretty sure. The sternum rub, what the sternum rub is moving your knuckles like that on the sternum hard. Anything to revive them. Now that's good stuff, Brenda. Very, very good. So what else is going on with the folks with us tonight? Do we have any new viewers that have joined us maybe for the first time, maybe for just the second, third time? I see we have many of the usual suspects. Always great to see them. Ruby Renova, thank you for joining us. Your son is 7 months sober after almost 8 years of using fentanyl. That's awesome. That is really awesome. I don't know if you're familiar, but we have on our channel, we have a series of addiction recovery stories that your son might find interesting. There's, I want to say there is 45 or 46 stories on our channel that is that are addiction recovery stories. And of those stories, 46 or so, I'm aware of one that has had a relapse. Just one. The ice shocks the male system. Their survival instinct is to protect the family jewels. Well, I can tell you what, just talking about ICE there shocks my system. So, yeah. Anyway. So, Ruby, I am going to share a link. And let me get the link. It'll just take me a minute. Here it is. I'm going to share with you a link. Here is a link to our playlist of recovery stories. No, that's not it. I have done this copy paste thing before. What happened there? Okay. Sorry. So here, I don't know what happened. Stop. Something strange happened here. Yes, Brad, we are still on for Toby Keith's Sunday. This Sunday. 5 days away. Right? 5 days away. How cool is that? The name of you don't know, that is the Toby Keith. Brad, help me out. What's the full name of this place? You know, Toby Keith, I would like this bar and grill or something. It's a restaurant in Oklahoma City, in Bricktown, and I have pretty good faith that Brad is gonna share the full name, maybe even the address, because Brad is on it like Oprah on a baked ham. He is on it like a rat on a Cheeto. Yeah, it's Father's Day. And Toby Keith's, I love this bar and grill in Bricktown. And we will be there from 2 o'clock until at least 4 o'clock. And could be longer. And so, any of you who would like to join us are welcome to. We will be there. What am I seeing? I don't know what I'm seeing here. Huh. Okay. Brenda's all over it. Okay. I am just trying to find a way to Hmm. Hmm. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of problem with the notepad. Here's what happened. I turned on OneDrive, and it has had a disastrous effect on the way things work. Kimberly Smith, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you being here. I am so excited to have it memorized. That's cool. Kimberly, thanks for joining us. I feel like we've seen you before, right? Right? Or did I get an email from you or I don't know. I'm getting confused. But it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Brad, is Carla your only child? And is Carla with us? Huh. Oh, that's kind of noisy. Ah, yes, started dreaming about Memphis in May. So, who else? Is Carla here? Gonna give me some grief about my coffee cup again? So, what kind of feedback does anybody have about the premiere that we just finished? The one with Aaliyah about losing her son, Rio. Rio sounds like quite a character. Well, you know, Father's Day plans could be before or after, or bring them. So, Kimberly, you're trying to teach your son about fentanyl. How old is your son? All right, so he's 50. Maybe there's a way to get him to watch some of our stories from the perspective of you wanting to know if he thinks they're accurate. I think it's wonderful the way people in the group will step up to help another member of the group, just like Brenda's doing here. It's really I think it's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, we don't nobody holds back much here, I don't think. I sure hope not. Getting this earpiece in where it wants. And here's Joan. So a way that welcome Carla. So a way that some of our viewers have managed to convince their loved ones to watch some of our stories is by asking them if they're accurate, presenting it in a way where the loved one gets to play expert and critically analyze the content of the story to help you. Kind of devious, I suppose, but I hear it works for some. Brenda is asking, does he talk about quitting? Do you know how he administers his fentanyl and how long he has used opioids? I don't I don't know, Brad. I can look at the calendar. I don't. I haven't made a decision on that yet, but yeah, in Kansas, we start shooting in Kansas on the 17th. That's Tuesday, so there's a fair chance that I'm gonna stay in Oklahoma City. Joan, I appreciate you doing that, asking people to watch the videos. It the the trick to get loved ones to watch them in under the guise of wanting them to tell you if it seems credible or not. That's one way. There's been a couple of commenters now that have said that they play the stories in the car when they're running errands with their kids, so that the kids kind of have to sit through them just because they're a captive audience and there's nowhere for them to go. Now that's for kids that are significantly younger than 50, I suppose. Brenda says, Joan, at least you ask people to watch. Family, I strongly suggest it with the threat of not cooking if they don't watch. Well, okay, now there's another one. Just, yeah, no food for you. That works. I think that's a good solution, I think. Just starve them until they watch it. Yeah, I think that's good. That's yeah, that's a good one. We have had several requests from school districts and from there's a nursing school in Florida that's also using some of our stories to show to. Oh, Carla. Yeah. There's coffee cups on our store, or in our merchandise store. There's coffee mugs like this one, and other stuff like T-shirts and sweatshirts and hoodies, and that might be about it. See, on the other side, it says stories that matter. I think that's so cool. But so the cups are very overpriced, Brett. You're just queuing it up for me. I see what's going on here. So we are working on switching stores. We're working on finding a different store and bringing out some new designs, a design or two that is related to fentanyl, a design or two that is related to addiction recovery, maybe something that has a connection to human trafficking or mental health or some other kind of awareness thing, and then a couple of shirts that are Texas Pictures centric. Something similar to what we give the storytellers when they share a story, but not. Just similar. Like maybe the same star on the back with the QR code, but wouldn't say storyteller. It would say something else. Tumblers, you mean maybe like this one? Maybe. Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, so yeah, there's all that cool stuff. The reason we have a store is because our YouTube partner manager told us that we should have a store. So we do, even though for some reason it's not connected to our channel anymore. But it is on the Texas Pictures website, on the home page, you can find a link near the bottom of the page that will take you to the store. Fentanyl and Mental Health Awareness Year. Is this Mental Health Awareness Year? Do they stay pretty clean? Well, yeah, they do. They stay really clean. I don't see any coffee stains at all in this mug. Nothing. I never have to wash it. It's great. Maybe you'll get to find out one day, Carla. Teresa, I don't know anything about fentanyl until different people from my home state. I didn't know anything about fentanyl until different people from my home state were being arrested with a lot of fentanyl. So I went to YouTube to learn about fentanyl poisoning. And here you are. There's a lot of other great resources out there. Yeah, me too. Coffee all day long. I can have coffee before going to bed. I've never felt any kind of effect from caffeine. Yes, I know Brad and Maxwell House. Yeah. So there are some other great programs. There's a lot of great content on YouTube that has to do with fentanyl. I heard something strange over there. I don't know what it was. Sorry. So there's a documentary called Dead on Arrival that is used in a lot of classroom presentations, and it is well suited for younger audiences. And it is it's very nicely made, and it is I guess you would call it rough. It's not graphic, but it's a little bit of in your face. It's a little bit the type of thing that teenagers would be receptive to. So it's a good one called Dead on Arrival. Brenda says, Joan, I have a big enough insomnia issue because of fentanyl. Pause. I couldn't imagine how bad it would be if I drank any coffee. Okay, so here's the thing about drinking coffee. I drink coffee all day. And most of the time it is partial decaf. I have a grinder and half the beans that are in there, a little over half the beans are decaf, and the rest are regular coffee beans. And the reason why I do that is because it just seems like a good idea. Now, 7 or 8 years ago, I went for somewhere around 8 months without drinking coffee, and without drinking caffeinated coffee, without drinking regular coffee. Caffeinated, it's a stupid term because it's not caffeinated. It's regular coffee. That's like saying unsweet iced tea. No, it's just iced tea. There's sweetened iced tea. There's no such thing as unsweetened. That would mean somebody took the sweetener out. Sorry. So anyway, 7 or 8 years ago, I went 6 months or more without, well, thank you, Joan, without drinking regular coffee. I only drank decaf. And after that period, I had regular coffee, and I felt that caffeine hit. That was pretty cool. And so my logic behind drinking primarily decaf is that maybe one day when I drink regular coffee, I'll feel that hit again. When I'm at a restaurant and I order coffee, I order regular coffee. I don't make a conscious effort to avoid caffeine. So anyway, thank you. Yes, it's called Dead on Arrival. Dead on Arrival. I did. I got a coffee buzz, but after a couple of days of being back drinking regular coffee, it didn't affect me anymore. So now I'm at a point where maybe there's just a little touch that helps me stay awake in church. I don't know, maybe. What's in my cup right now is coffee. About half calf. So Joan, I guess it's the shirt, right? Yeah, it's a nice shirt. Had a sport coat on earlier. Had a meeting, had a job interview. No, I didn't have a job interview, but I had a meeting or two. And so, you dress the part. Glenn, how do you keep this youthful look about you? What's your secret? Oh, Brad, here's the thing. I'm just really immature. And I think that there's something about being immature. I think there's something about being immature that keeps me young. How about that for an answer, Brad? Glenn, you've built a tolerance. You need more coffee to get the same buzz. Geez, didn't all us addicts teach you anything? Well, yes. All the addicts have taught me just really tons of things. I mean, tons of things. And I am more attentive to the coffee thing from that. And Brad, you're in your PJs already. What is the percentage of young people overdose? I don't know. It is a leading killer. There's conflicting statistics about what is the number one killer. That I know that fentanyl awareness champions say that fentanyl is the number one killer for ages, I want to say 19 to 45 or something like that. But there's other data out there that says no. There's things like car crashes. So, but yeah, but so the thing about the coffee is I also know if you detox, then that gets you back down to a lower dose. So yeah, I know that. Carla says it's way past Brad's bedtime. I think it was past Brad's bedtime when we started. That's just me. Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see him at Toby Keith's because I don't know, Brad could, but it'll be good because I'll probably be it'll be good. I am so looking forward to the Toby Keith thing. Why people color coded the fentanyl like candy? That is just marketing. The big thing, the big key to understanding fentanyl on the market is that there's money in it because there's a demand. And so And so since there's a demand, they want their product to be attractive to the consumer who is buying whatever for whatever reason. If they're the color code, the Skittles colored Percocet thing, that is not meant to go after regular users. It's meant to attract new users. I believe it's not something that cartels don't put out press releases saying we're starting this new campaign. So it's all really speculation, but it looks pretty obvious that multicolored pills, they look safer. They look like candy. And so that would be the logical reason. The cartels are businesses. They're businesses. They don't have some agenda where they're trying to kill people. They just want business. They want customers. Yeah, I realize you probably need something that's gluten-free and not too spicy. Brenda says that the different colors of the M30s let us users know who made them and how strong they are. Okay, Brenda, that sounds interesting. I have heard from a DEA agent and a former DEA agent who is now with HIDTA, the High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area Program, that the different colored M30s, the ones that look like Skittles, I have a picture somewhere, but that there isn't a consistent, predictable dosage. Like the red ones aren't stronger than the yellow ones. That if there is an inconsistency in the dosage, it's random. That's what a DEA agent explained to me, and what a former DEA agent who is now a HIDTA, he's a HIDTA guy. I don't know what he's a HIDTA representative. He's with HIDTA, the High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area Group. And so we should probably try to have him on one of these shows sometime. He's a good guy. His name's Wendell Campbell, and he's very motivated to attack this fentanyl thing whenever he can. Cindy Bennett, welcome from South Carolina. We've been talking with someone in South Carolina about possibly coming out there to do a storytelling summit. No date is set yet, but there's been talk about it. Yes, she is. Carla was born in South Carolina. Yeah, but that wasn't her choice, was it? I was born in Texas. When people ask me if I have lived in Texas my whole life, my answer is always the same. I always say, not yet. We are going to be in Portsmouth, Virginia soon. I should have the calendar open and I could tell you when we're going to be in Portsmouth. We're going to Kansas, and then we're going to Colorado. I almost said, and then we're going to Denver. Wow. Portsmouth on July 10th. And then after that, we're going to be in Seattle, Washington on July 25th. How can I share this with other people? Kimberly, how do you mean share it? Do you mean like share a link to this live event? We don't have a. The talk has been Charleston, but we don't have a definite location yet. So it's still kind of up in the air. How to share this chat right now, huh? Can anybody help with that? Because I don't know. I don't know how. Oh, yeah, maybe I do. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Here, you can. The Norfolk Police Department. Okay, that link, Kimberly, that link that I just posted in the chat should bring anyone who wants to join the chat here. So if you can copy and paste that link and pass it along to whoever you want to invite, have that. What? You have to wait 24 hours for chat to be available. Okay, yeah. If they want to join right now, they can join right now with the link. Have you heard about Memphis Preventions? No. Memphis Preventions. Is that a like a harm reduction kind of organization or awareness organization, something like that? I don't know. Then you have to click the open panel button to see chat pop up as it appeared during the live event. Okay. Okay. I can see that. Perhaps if we make our way to Memphis sometime soon, we could have some sort of feature about them. And I'd do a short story. We have a small set of stories about different fentanyl awareness organizations on our channel. And there's a playlist. Says there's a Hog's Head Kitchen in Hilton Head, but that's all I could find. What? So yeah, so the link that I posted, if someone follows the link right now, they can join the live event. Later, the same link will go to the recording. 24 hours or so after the recording is finished, the chat will also be available with the video, with the recording. Brad, you're asking, am I a golfer? I'm not really. I used to in my 30s. In my 30s, I did, and 30s and 40s, and it just kind of faded away, and never really got back into it. Never got that good at it. I stopped doing it and had a 10-year period of not doing it at all. And then I played one game, and I shot the best game I'd ever played. And so I felt like I should wait 20 years before I try again, and then maybe I'll be ready for the tour. So, Brad, you're old enough. Do you know a guy? Do you know the name? Oh my gosh, I can't remember his name. Golfer Ben Crenshaw. You know Ben Crenshaw. You know, you've heard of Ben Crenshaw. I have interviewed Ben Crenshaw and Phil Mickelson. And it was to do a story. It was to do a story about Jackie Burke. Jackie Burke. Brad, you know Jackie Burke? Putt, heck yeah. Yeah, no, I have done that. Jackie Burke was the was the big champion for a long time right after World War II, or a bit after, and he was like the Tiger Woods of the 50s, and so I no don't really play chess, and so I went over there to interview. I went to his office. It's here in Houston at Champions Golf Club. And I went to his office to interview him, and I had no clue who he was. And so while me and my assistant are in his office, he wasn't there. But I knew him. I had already met him. And so I could recognize him in the pictures on the wall. But I started looking at the pictures on the wall, and just tons of pictures. And one of the, and so I started looking at them. Almost all of them were black and white. And I thought, oh, there's Jackie. And he's with Bob Hope. And here he is. And that's him with Eisenhower. And there he is with Dean Martin. And there he is with Ben Hogan. And just boom, 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 boom. Just all these giant names from entertainment, politics, all of that. And I had no idea. And he's such a nice guy. Anyway. All right. So let me catch up with you guys. I really went down a tangent there. Putt, heck yeah. Dad, you love chess. Cool. Carla, I don't even sing in the shower. Years ago, guys were slipping me moonshine, and I karaoke'd both Cher and Tina Turner. All right. That was way before YouTube, I'm guessing. Otherwise, I'm going to search for it. Cindy, nope, I haven't even been to South Carolina, but it's on my list. They have some amazing history. So most of the history in South Carolina, I imagine, is Civil War related, right? And, of course, the best putt-putt. Chess. So way before even the Tandy 180, the Tandy. There, I remember there was a Tandy TRS 80 or something like that. Had like a 40 megabyte hard drive. I learned basic programming in college. Actually worked on one of those for a while. But so back to stories that matter and all of that. Who else is in the group here? What's that? A Tandy 180. It's a computer you could get at Radio Shack. See, I think maybe, okay. So I noticed this happening. This I got this. I don't know what happened there, but Brenda, will you and Dad be teaching Glenn the details of the 5-year plan this weekend? That was from Radio Shack. Yes, it was a Tandy with the big floppy disk drive, and yeah, and it was a big deal to have 2 drives. So I remember that too, and of course, the screen was just a black and white screen. I guess it would be accurate to say it's us old folks talking about first generation home computers. Anyway, but I was putting out some sort of question, right? Wasn't I? I was on a stream before Brad started up with the "How do you look so young" thing again, and I don't remember. I don't remember black and white. Holy cow! Yeah, it was kind of green and white, at least for some of them. But yeah, it was basic programming. I took a couple of DOS commands. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it's funny how they get stuck in your head, and so anyway, where were we? So some of the other folks that are here in the room watching. First off, if you're watching from your smart TV, you can log in on your phone at the same time, and even though your phone can't participate, even though your TV can't participate in the chat, you can chat using your phone. I don't know if we're going to be going to the rally this year or not, Carla. I would like to, but I'm also we're doing a lot of travel. It's in October, isn't it? Is that I don't believe we have anything booked for October yet, but that doesn't mean we want something booked either. That we have talked about it. I should go. We should go. I think that we should have some sort of we should have a table set up there and a way for people to comment, tell us things that they want to put on our channel, that things about what needs to happen or something. An RV. Yeah, we've talked about that a little bit, and we're both kind of torn between having an RV and really just relying on hotels. There's definitely pluses to both. That if you're in a hotel, there's probably restaurants close by. But if you're in an RV, you have this extra level of flexibility, and you can just stop at a rest area. You can do all of that. I don't know. Me and Sherry have talked about it, and we kind of go back and forth about which is better. Hotels are nice. There's room service. Not that we ever really get it, but yeah, there's pluses to both. Hotels are better because you have more freedom to explore. Gas is so expensive, though. Yeah, and gas is more expensive with a RV. That I I so my parents had an RV that actually they had two RVs when I was in high school. They had two RVs and they would rent them out to people, and that worked out pretty good. And I would drive them once in a while. I drove one of the smaller one. It was a 25-foot RV. I drove it to school one day because our class was taking a field trip. It was a drafting class, and we were taking a field trip, and so I volunteered to use the RV as sort of like the bus for the class because it was kind of a small class. And we all piled into it and did this field trip thing. It was cool. But that morning on the way to school, I went by to pick up my girlfriend, and her father looked out the window and he said, "Yeah, no, I'll take her to school today." So that was funny. Anyway. Yeah, so we kind of keep going back and forth on the RV solution. Like if we took that to Washington D.C., we wouldn't be parking anywhere close, and then we'd be Ubering everywhere. So I don't know. We're still sorting it out. Probably the hotel's RV is a great thought, but I hear they are a lot of work if you're really intending on taking care of it. Yeah. Brenda said I had a Winnebago when I was 6. You had a Winnebago when I was like for a Barbie? Hammer Davis, thanks for joining us. RV is a great thought, but I hear they're a lot of work. Yeah. There's some extra work, but there's also some extra benefits. In an RV, sometimes my wife could drive, and I could be in the back editing a story while we're on the road, and that would be a great use of time. Okay, I have a theory about fifth wheels, Brad. My theory about fifth wheels is the real reason they're so popular is that it creates it creates a rationalization to let guys buy really cool trucks. So who else do we have in the group here this evening? At least it's evening here. I'm in Houston, Texas, and it is 8:35 here. Who else is any other new visitors in the group? Cousin Eddie always had an RV. He did. Cousin Eddie, is that from vacation? If I took Booger, my mom's Pekingese dog, I would end up in timeout. Okay. Well, cool. So yeah, I would back to the rally. The rally was a wonderful event last year, despite the heat. But it was a wonderful event. I was glad to be there. And I would like the real creative minds. Okay, yeah. I feel like you told me your name last time, but I went with Minds, if I remember. But thank you for joining us. Appreciate you being here. So yeah, I think it would be great to go to the rally and have some sort of solution where, you know, like if we have one of those tents, one of those awning things, the little pop-up things where people could just come in and I think probably the best thing would be to express their disappointment in the government's performance toward fentanyl. There's a rally in Washington, D.C. in October. The big sponsor is Lost Voices of Fentanyl. They're the organizers. And of course, there's many sponsors. And I feel like we should go. I don't know how to work out what to do there. I feel like while we're there, we should be coming back with something for our audience, for you guys, for all you guys who aren't there, some way to hear the voices of some of the people who are. But I don't know. I don't know what to do. Do they publish an agenda before the rally? Maybe. Maybe what happens is there is the way it was last year was that there was an event on the lawn of the Washington Monument where there were quite a few speakers. One of them was Sheriff Thaddeus Cleveland, who's a border sheriff. I went down there and spent a couple of days with him doing ride-alongs and went down right on the bank of the Rio Grande and he was an awesome host. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is that making shorts or maybe not shorts in YouTube world, but maybe like a whole bunch of 5-minute or so videos that are different people saying, well, here's the reason I'm in Washington, D.C. is to holler at our government about what they're not doing or what they've done wrong or where they failed or where they need to do better or whatever kind of message that they're hoping their presence in the rally reinforces. It seems like that might be a good way to amplify the message of the rally. Perhaps. So the agenda, there's some speakers and then there is the march. And the march is from the Washington Monument to the White House. So you guys like this Tumblr? It's cool, right? See the logo on there? Mm-hmm. Anyway. All right. So maybe one day. So we're still trying to figure out how best to approach the rally if we go. Who's going to be there? Brad, Carla, you guys going to go? Thank you, Cindy. Who else is going to be at the rally, or who's thinking about it? At the Lost Voices of Fentanyl website, will probably have a lot of information about the rally. We made a promotional video about the rally last year. I can't go to the rally because if I ever get that close to the Library of Congress, I'll never leave. Okay, then. Oh, no, I am out of coffee. And I am close to out of water. Maybe what I should do is save that opening sequence. We have two different opening sequences. One's a couple of minutes long, and one is around 20 seconds. Maybe I should save that for the middle of the broadcast thing here so that I can put that on and I can go get more coffee. But it'll be fine. I want to be the first permanent stowaway at the Library of Congress. Well, Ed, that would be interesting. That would be interesting. So for the people in the audience right now, most of the people are involved in the primary interest has to do with fentanyl and addiction recovery or both. Is there anyone getting parched? Is there anyone connected to any of the other topics? Like we have a set of stories that we've created about impaired driving. And we have a small series about human trafficking. It's really about sex trafficking, but it works out better to call it human trafficking because of how critical the review process can be. So we do have a lot of other content on our channel. I just always just curious. So who else is with us who is new to the group, new to these live events? At least new to and has a way to respond with a text message or can respond in the chat. So I know I mentioned it before. You can, how about that? It's Greg Swan. So you can if you're watching on your television, on your smart TV at home, you can still log in on your phone and do both. And on your phone, you can participate in the chat. So since I'm Well, that's an interesting thing. Greg Swan with Fentanyl Fathers just let me know about a New York bill that would make public private schools adopt fentanyl education programs. And so a state assemblyman, Robert Smullen, is proposing new legislation called the Fentanyl Fathers and Mothers Act. How cool is that? How overdue is that? Cindy Bennett, the next TV I get, I hope to get a smart TV. Smart TVs are cool. And you can get a lot of what you get out of a smart TV just with a Roku stick. But so we should probably do a live at some point with Greg Swan. I'm pretty sure if Greg is part of one of these, I won't need to say anything. That Greg will, he'll have plenty to say because that's Greg. And he's one of the stories. His son Drew is one of the stories on our channel. There's also a story about the organization that he co-founded called Fentanyl Fathers. And there's a second story about Fentanyl Fathers, a third story that has Greg in it. So some interesting stuff out there. Drink some water, Glenn. I still have a little bit in this fancy Texas Pictures tumbler. So one thing that I find really interesting, we've been here over 70 minutes now, and our audience has grown to over 50 people, and it seems to take about an hour for that to happen. I don't understand that. I don't. It'd be great to start at that number. Is it a time of day thing? You guys think? I don't know. I neglected that. Sorry. So I like as the audience gets larger, it always makes me feel like I should probably remind folks of a few things. You guys know that I love bringing up the whole naloxone, Narcan thing, and how Narcan is just a brand name. It is not what matters. What matters is naloxone. Narcan and a whole bunch of other solutions all contain naloxone. And there they are. There's that, and this isn't all of them. All 6 of those products are opioid overdose reversing tools. And they all work with the same sort of nasal sprayer. They all contain naloxone, and only one says Narcan. And so I always like to hammer that point home when we have a good size audience here, because calling it Narcan it's much like calling a tissue a Kleenex, except this is a life and death thing. So it's really important to say naloxone. Brenda says, Cindy, we have one TV in the house. I don't know if it's smart or stupid because I never watch. I can feel my brain cells dying when it is annoying me. Golly, Brenda, you realize television is kind of sort of part of my field, right? And Cindy says that is very accurate. Nope, it's not. Here's the thing. Condemning television is like condemning a library. You know, you get to pick and choose what you read or what you view on TV. And it's not all trivial, lowbrow, silly stuff. Well, thank you, Brenda. I appreciate that. There's a lot of stuff out there that is educational, life-saving, and entertaining. It's powerful. It's video, like television, or, streaming services and all of that. Video is, Video is the most powerful thing in the world. Really. It is. It was not Rodney King being beaten that caused the riots in Los Angeles. It was video of Rodney King being beaten. The power of it, we see it over and over. We see examples of the impact that video can have. There is anyone who supported or opposed apartheid or the Vietnam War can tell you about the power of video. And then there's movies. When The Exorcist came out, suddenly there was a huge spike in the number of people who thought they were possessed. When Jaws came out, there was a huge spike in the number of reported shark sightings along the coastline. What was there's others as well. Sideways, the movie Sideways. And when Sideways came out, there was a spike in sale of wine and a bigger spike in the sale of Pinot wine. Exorcist was a book first. That's right, Brenda. But virtually all movies were books first. That, and in the course of producing a movie, there is the first step in script writing is to write a treatment. And a treatment is basically the book. If there's a book, Jaws had a book, Exorcist had a book. Many of the movies that are out there started as books or are based on a book. And if they aren't, the first step in developing the script, basically writing a book. Oh my God, Naked and Afraid is fascinating. Oh yeah, I do know what that is. Yeah. Carla says, did you know my dad was an extra in the movie 3 Men and a Baby? No. No, I had no idea. How about that? Wow. Gee, Brad, I'll have to get an autograph when We're in Oklahoma City. Funny thing about movies is if you think about, for most of us, when we're in school, when we're coming up through middle school, high school, we're taught how to read over and over and over. First, we're taught the mechanics of it, and then we're taught how to interpret more deeply. We're not typically, I was, but typically, we're not taught anything about how to watch a movie, how to read a movie. When you go to the theater, you watch a movie on your TV or whatever, there is everything that you see, everything that you hear is deliberate and thought out. And there is all of this depth in a lot of movies. I wouldn't say all. Some movies are more like rides, more like a fun ride at Disneyland. Movies like Armageddon, that's really a ride, and a good one, well thought out, all that good stuff. Gray tape for the mouths. That's funny. So there's things that happen in movies that people just miss. There's one. I was in several film classes in college that explored how to interpret what's going on in a movie that is at a level of depth that had never been addressed to me before. And I know the only reason that it was ever brought to my attention was because that was what I was studying. But so if you think about a movie, like, the big example that I've always relied on is the movie Platoon. And the movie Platoon it's set during the Vietnam War, and the filmmaker's name is Oliver Stone. And there's things going on in scenes in that movie that are powerful and have great underlying messages. So there's a scene in Platoon. Oliver Stone is a Vietnam vet, and there's a scene in Platoon where Charlie Sheen's character is getting on a helicopter, getting out of here, and he talks to another member of his platoon, and they have this discussion, and in the discussion, the other member of the platoon, I don't know what the actor's name was, but he tells Charlie Sheen's character, as he's about to leave, obviously near the end of the story, that Charlie Sheen is about to get on a helicopter and leave the chaos of Vietnam. And Charlie Sheen is talking about how unfair it is. And the other character, he says something to the effect of, remember, there's no such thing as a coward out here. That doesn't mean anything. All you have to do is make it out of here. And every day, the rest of your life is gravy. And what's really happening there is Oliver Stone is stepping into that character's being and making a lecture to the audience, to members of the audience that are veterans, and reminding them that, hey, you're still alive. He's saying, I left a lot of people that were important to me in Vietnam. Be grateful you're alive. And so, and there are things like that going on all throughout the movie. The two main characters, the two sergeants, Sergeant Barnes and Sergeant Elias, represent the United States before and after the war. Anyway, so I got off on a big tangent there, but my point to that is we don't learn about how to interpret a movie while we're watching it. So much is going on in a movie. You know, in a book, the author can tell the reader everything to notice. And in a film, it doesn't work that way. In 73, I went and saw The Exorcist with my parents, and it's the only movie that scared the crap out of me. Yeah. Yeah, it's good and deeply wicked scary. It's brilliant. That I remember one of the movies we studied in school was Psycho, the Alfred Hitchcock film, and that shower scene. My first theater movie with my parents was Billy Jack. I don't remember the real name, but the music was beautiful. The music was beautiful, like listen, children, to a story that was written long ago. Yeah. 110 Soldier, right? Yeah. Yeah, I remember Billy Jack. The Omen, yeah. Omen was good. Omen was good. I remember 110 Soldier. There you go. Is there still stuff like that? Really? Is there music out there that has lines like, go ahead and hate your neighbor, go ahead and cheat a friend, do it in the name of heaven, you can justify it in the end? Is there still is there music out there now? Is there new stuff? The stuff that we heard growing up, like that? Like some Jackson Browne stuff, or the Eagles Hotel California about, and that song, The Last Resort, about how California, how the California rush changed. Is there stuff like that now? I don't think now. I can't think of one. Yeah, I can't either, but I still listen to the stuff I listened to in high school and college. That's pretty much it for me. If there's something more current that I will listen to, it's because it sounds like the old stuff. And I'm okay with that. Brenda says, not that I have heard in a month of blue moon, CCR protest songs still make me cry. So, yeah, there's a CCR song. What is it? Some folks are born silver spoon in hand. It ain't me. I actually, I remember one of the automakers used a commercial. You used a CCR song, the one about I ain't no millionaire. It ain't me. The Fortunate One is what it's called. And the song is not pro-American. And the auto manufacturer was using it as if it was. I thought that was idiot. Good job, Brad. What Creedence Clearwater Revival is CCR. John Fogerty and whoever the other guys were. I don't know. And Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. That was, and Joni Mitchell. Holy cow. There's such awesome stuff. Rich, deep, thoughtful stuff. I think anytime an entertainer steps up to a microphone, he ought to have something to say, not just sound good, but say something. Say something. Because you can. You have the chance. Anyway, I digress. Joni Mitchell, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. The song is called Woodstock. We are stardust. We are golden. We are. By the time we got to Woodstock, we were 500,000 strong. That song. Oh yeah. Okay, the song I was talking about from Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young was actually written by Joni Mitchell. So Otis Redding sitting on the dock of the bay. That guy, Marvin Gaye. Yeah, he is. All the I really like all the Motown stuff. I think it's great. It's amazing he's still playing today. Yeah, it is. So I really appreciate you guys all being here, but it is probably close to time to wrapping things up, don't you think? It is. We have been here for 95 minutes almost, and I've been having a great time with you guys. Yeah, Marvin Gaye, lots of the Motown stuff was. He played at Woodstock. Did he? Were you there, Brad? Didn't the Shana Na play at Woodstock too? Am I remembering that wrong? The Four Tops. Oh yeah. Remember the things you take for granted someone else is praying for. Brenda has always got that gold message to share. That's wonderful. All right, folks. So I always I always want to remind you that you can reach out to me anytime. There is my name right there on the screen. You can find me on Facebook. You can message me there. You can certainly reach me by commenting on any of the stories or any of the posts in the community section. And then there is also all of the other ways to reach me. And so let's just, good night, Brad. I will see you guys. Remember, Oklahoma City, Bricktown, Toby Keith's Hillbilly Heaven, whatever it's called. I forget. Toby Keith's Bar and Grill in Bricktown. All are welcome. So here's a way to reach us. Email is info@texas-pictures.com. You can find me on Facebook. We have a private Facebook group that is made up of storytellers and those who would like to be storytellers. And there is our website, texas-pictures.com. On the homepage to our website, you'll find links to create. You'll find links to a page that explains how to create a storytelling summit, a page that explains what it's like to be a storyteller, what's involved and what's expected, which isn't much. And there's also a link to our Texas Pictures store. And yes, Brenda, please hit the like button on your way out. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you guys again in a couple of days. We'll be back here with a new story Friday, I believe. Good night, folks. Thank you very much.